So it's Fanboys Live in the Retro Review. Welcome to the show. As I ask our panel today, why did the Martian Manhunter prefer to eat moon rocks instead of Earth rocks?
I got nothing.
Because they were a little meteor. The greatest DC comic show on YouTube is on the air for your holiday weekend. Thanks for spending time out of this holiday weekend with us for Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. I'm Ryan. I'm Magic Lasso, hosting the show on my channel this week. It's great to have you here as we welcome fellow fanboys, Tony Fett. Hi, Tony.
Hello.
Good. And Comic Foo 2814. Hi, Foo. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. Everyone enjoying their holiday weekend?
Yeah.
Funny thing about the holiday weekend, I forgot it was Labor Day. So I had full intentions of going into work tomorrow until somebody chimed in and said something.
Yeah.
And I never would have noticed because most people are still working from home. So it would have taken me a long time to figure out that no one was in the office tomorrow.
Yeah. Foo, you taking tomorrow off?
Yeah.
Good. Me too. So no comic books will be sold under my watch tomorrow.
I think even my LCSs here are shut down for the holiday, which is totally cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're going to say hello to those that are joining us live in the chat. But if you're watching on the rewind, special thank you to you as well for being here, because we'll be reviewing a story tonight in the retro review portion that brings back a lot of memories for me. And this is one that I've really been wanting to feature for quite some time. So I'm excited to get to that later on. But looking at our chat right now, double dipping in the stream and on the chat is Comic Food 2814, who's saying hello to everyone. John's Comics with Kids is here. Hi, John. I haven't had much John interaction this weekend, so it's been a sad weekend for me, but he's here now, so I'm happy. Warlord is here. What is up, James? Good to see you. Paul S. is joining us for another Fanboys Live in the Retro Review. It's great to have you here. Look at there, Super Russ 9000. He's joined us too. I hope that you enjoyed the show tonight, Russ. It's great to have you here. And station to TM Nerdy.
TM Nerdy, what's up?
Yeah, all the way in Canada. Saying hi to us and everyone else. So as other folks pop into the live chat, we'll acknowledge them as well. So DC Comics news, where to begin for this week?
Oh man, where do I even start? It was pretty DC EU heavy this week. Okay. If you guys didn't notice the me spamming the Instagram chat with all the cool news that happened. Let me pull up some of these articles here, but
yeah, for those that aren't part of this chat, Tony is nonstop, like multiple times daily. Like if there is like the slightest bit of gossip when it comes to the DCEU, Tony's on top of it.
Yes. Good news for all you Gal Gadot fans. It sounds like she's sticking around for a while. Kind of expected. I mean, she was, along with Henry Cavill, some of the more well-received characters, which is cool. Which almost confirms that a Holy Trinity movie is most likely true. We heard the rumors that Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman movie could be coming down the pipeline, and I think this is the next step into making that happen.
I hope it's as good as Batman, Superman.
Yeah, yeah. I got to admit that was the best part of that movie. It was Batman v Superman, but it really, got awesome when Gal Gadot showed up and they started taking down Doomsday. That was awesome. That's the kind of movie I hope. Just an action-packed, punch 'em hard. Not only is Henry Cavill more than likely in the Black Adam movie, but it sounds like he is also doing reshoots for Aquaman 2 and Shazam 2. So awesome. Sounds like Henry Cavill is sticking around. Henry Cavill also rumored to be in multiple big blockbuster movies after Shazam, Black Adam, and Aquaman, including a possible Man of Steel 2. And a potential villain for that would be Mongol, which would be pretty cool. Bring back Affleck. I think he is back. I think he is. Out of the blue, they just dropped him in Aquaman 2. And we thought The Flash was his last movie. They were going to send him off, but I guess not.
Well, they actually have to release a movie first. So they've got lots of plans, but they actually have to...
some of the movies they even film all the way through and then don't release them.
And then don't release them, right? Speaking of The Flash, Michael Keaton's role has been reduced. It sounds like he's not going to have as much as an impact as initially anticipated, probably because of the Discovery Warner merger and the direction they want to take movies. And that makes sense. They've had to do several reshoots for this movie. And I know he was supposed to be a big role. He was supposed to have this huge role in the Batgirl movie that was canceled. So this kind of coincides with that. And it makes sense. So he's, I guess, I don't know what kind of length in the film he has or what kind of dialogue or even what, we don't even really know what the story is, but whatever his role is, it sounds like it's been reduced. But hey, just the fact that he's in it, I think is pretty cool. Even it is for a shortened period of time. I don't want to take up all the news, but if someone has anything else, feel free to chime in.
Foo, do you have anything?
Yet. No, nothing from me.
I don't have a whole lot. I think that a little bit of comic book spoilers here just for a quick moment, but someone who's a member of the Justice League is about to become a parent. And spoilers,
there are already members of the Justice League that are already parents. So
spoilers in 5, 4, 3. I have to make sure that I don't have the correct finger for one.
Yeah, I gotta take my headphones off, I guess.
It looks like Wally West and Linda Park. It's heavily hinted at in the Flash 2022 annual that those two are expecting.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Wally
and
Parker.
Also, speaking of
Junior.
Flash, the McFarlane Page Punchers toy line, if you've ever seen those, they're getting an entire wave of Flash figures.
Very cool. Those come with the standalone comics.
Yeah.
Which was part of the other news that I was going to chat about.
Go for it.
Such a great segue. This is the first time that McFarlane has been publishing DC Comics on his own publisher line. So could this be a trial run for DC to lease out those characters and make some money on it and just let someone else worry about the story and hiring the writers and the artists and the talent? And that way Warner Brothers can focus slowly on the movies. Who knows? I know from what it sounds like, Marvel is also on the fence about doing something very similar for just the comics, because the comics don't make as near as much money as the movies do, or so honestly, I'd be okay with that, really, as long as they do a good job.
Tony, do you have an answer to Paul's question?
Hey, since DC's going all these changes, what does it mean for the animated universe? Who knows? Who knows? Although I do enjoy the animated universe, so I do hope they treat that with the care and respect as I hope they would.
Yeah.
DC Fandom is canceled.
Yeah, I was just about to say that Fandom is this year.
Did they give any reason why?
Not that I saw.
This would have been the third year, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, third or fourth year. No, because they canceled it once during COVID, like peak COVID. It was still a virtual experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what I say when something DC Comics gets canceled and they don't have an explanation for it. You just say this: Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller.
Hey,
yes.
hello, really quick to the Jackson Roy Kirk. Thanks for stopping by.
Everybody's Kirk. Jackson.
It's been almost a year since the last DC Fandom, and I think we still have yet to unlock our NFTs, right?
You can do that now.
Yeah,
you can.
You can sell them now.
Okay, all right.
They're
I don't
going
think you
for
can trade them, but you can sell them.
You can sell them. Okay.
Yeah.
But
ultra
you can't.
Rare.
They have to stay on their platform still.
I think you can move them to a wallet.
Okay.
Me too. Maybe I'll get that out before the end of the show, Jackson Roykirk, just for you, because it's not too far from me. Anyway, yeah, so no. What's interesting is they didn't do anything for SDCC, and much of the rumors was, well, they're saving it for Fandom, because why would you give your stuff away to another event when you have your own event coming up so soon?
Right.
So now New York hasn't happened yet, correct?
Comic-Con? I don't think so.
I don't think
Okay,
so.
I'm wondering if that will change their presence or appearance in New York.
Who knows?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of silly that they moved from New York to LA because, what was I going to say? I thought they were more iconic in New York versus LA, but whatever.
Who knows? I mean, they had offices in LA, right?
Yeah. What is it? I heard in the fan zone it was canceled. It was reminded YouTube said that in 2020 DC destroyed Marvel for sort of future Hyperloop coming back to. Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, that's true.
Hello to Brother John Comics. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend.
Big news on the Blue Beetle movie.
Tell us.
It's still not sure what the exact plot is, but it will have a huge impact on all DC movies going forward. And that's great, but like I'm trying to think of a Blue Beetle villain that could have some kind of impact like that. And for the life of me, I can't think of one off the top of my head. Could be the Reach.
I mean, that could bring a global event.
True, that could ignite
involve
something.
the whole Justice League.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a Justice League type event.
Yeah, who knows? That could be interesting. James Gunn signed on to do more DC projects. So they're extending his contract, which is pretty cool. The Suicide Squad director. Looking forward to that. Ezra Miller meets with Warner Brothers. The fact that they haven't officially announced that they're parting ways with Ezra Miller blows my mind.
I know.
What do you got to do to get rid of this guy?
You have to have a movie that doesn't test well.
Yeah, right.
Well, and just imagine what kind of example it's setting for him. I mean, what's he going to do next?
Yeah.
Rumor has it that they are renegotiating his contract, and if he so much as gets a speeding ticket, he will never work at Warner Brothers again.
He will never work in Warner Brothers again. I'm calling it right now.
I firmly believe you. But it sounds like the Flash movie is so far probably one of the better DC movies to come out, which is good in a sense that we're chomping at the bits to get some awesome DC content, but bad in the sense that I think everyone is sick of Ezra Miller and his shenanigans. So what do we want more? Do we want to dump Ezra Miller, or do we want good DC content? I think a lot of people are on the fence, like, well, geez, just short of shooting a bunch of people. I don't know what it's going to take to get rid of this guy. It's crazy.
I don't think fans loved him either as the Flash, so I mean, it shouldn't have been that difficult.
No. A Constantine 2 script sounds like it's on its final draft, and I forgot all about that. Keanu Reeves was almost guaranteed coming back to reprise his role as John Constantine, and that was reported by the guy who played the devil in that movie. And for the life of me, I cannot remember his name, the actor, right at the end. But he said he was coming back to play the devil, so that's kind of neat.
Hello to Cookie from Just a Little Podcast. Popped in for a quick second. That's awesome. So did you guys hear about this one-shot book that's coming out this upcoming Tuesday called Batman Dear Detective?
I have not.
This is a very interesting book because, and forgive me if I'm not pronouncing his name correct, is it Lee Bermejo?
Yes, Bermejo, yep.
Okay, Bermejo. So it's the covers that he did for Detective Comics. And and they're doing this in that larger style, like they do some of the Black Label books.
The magazine.
Yeah, like
size?
the magazine size. And what they're doing is they're publishing all of the covers virgin, but they're trying to connect a story together. So there's no panels. And I've actually looked through the book. There's the image of the cover, and then on the other side is like maybe a paragraph of text. And so it's not a comic book and it's not an art book. I've never seen anything like this before, but it's really cool. And to see all of those covers, the virgin without the text on it too, and to see how they tried to wrap a story around that and tie it all together, I thought it was pretty awesome.
So it's like a new story?
Yeah. So it comes out on Tuesday, just a one shot, but very interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Yeah.
Sarah, do you guys remember the name? Let me throw a name at you. Gosh, I just saw it. Sarah, I don't know how to say it. Cassell? Sarah Cassell. You guys remember her?
No.
She was going to play the new Supergirl.
Oh yeah.
In the Flash movie. Sounds like
the dark-haired Supergirl.
Yes, that will be her first
and
last appearance as Supergirl.
Oh, really?
The Flash movie. Yep. They canceled that project with her going forward as well. So no Supergirl.
Nobody was excited about that.
Yeah, I wasn't particularly thrilled with that casting choice. Not that we can't have a dark hair Supergirl, but I mean, essentially, it doesn't matter. But it's just the actress. It just. I feel like there was a lot better choices, but yeah, who knows? I have no idea. A lot of people wanted Kelly Coco to fill that role, and I could not see that.
From Big Bang?
Yeah, from Big Bang Theory, and the voice of Harley Quinn on the Harley Quinn animated TV show. Yeah, and that definitely wouldn't have done it for me.
My problem with her on that voice in that Harley show, half the time she remembers that she has a New York accent, and the other half she forgets.
I know.
So it's completely inconsistent.
Yeah.
Have it or don't have it.
Who knows? And if you remember the Suicide Squad, the first one, Margot Robbie had the same problem too, because sometimes she really would drag out these East Coast New Jersey accents, and then the rest of the film she would talk like a normal human being. So it's just, maybe it's just the character, maybe it's just, I have no idea, but I thought that was pretty interesting too. But yeah, no Supergirl project moving forward. That actress and Warner Brothers have parted ways for whatever reason.
Well, there you go.
And I think other than
they're keeping Ezra Miller.
They're still keeping Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
But no Batgirl, no Supergirl.
Yeah.
And I guess the Batgirl movie was going to be pretty good from what I hear.
Well, it depends on who you ask.
Yeah. Sure. We have no idea. We have to take the words of these us East Coasters aren't normal human beings. Listen, I live on the East Coast, man. And no, you are not, because I'm from the Midwest.
What up, Crazy Ivan? I hope you caught the joke at the beginning of the show. And hello to Scott, Hoarder's Hide. Hope you're doing well.
To be fair, Ivan,
Yeah, have you been to Philly lately? It is definitely not the city of brotherly love. But the Black Canary solo movie is still a green go.
The one where she's a singer and everything.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I like this casting choice.
You just like fishnets.
Yeah. It took me a minute to figure out what you were talking about. But yes, sure. Why not? I like the character. I thought the casting choice was great. I can see that being a surprise hit. So that will be fun. Going back to the Blue Beetle movie, I guess Stargirl is rumored to make her first movie appearance.
Interesting.
Same actress?
No, probably. I doubt it. I really do. Which is a shame, because that's a really good actress to play that character. I would love to see her in the movie. That would be fun, but I don't think it's going to be the same actress. That would be cool if it was, but I don't think so. And finally, I think the last bit of news I have, the actor who played Martian Manhunter is rumored to be back, possibly as early as the Flash movie, allegedly. So we'll see. But that's it for me for news. I know I was long-winded there, but there's a lot to cover.
No, you're fine.
All right. Well, that's it. No time for the retro review.
Yep. See you guys later. Have a good weekend.
Hello to Goro who stopped by today. That's
Fishnet
awesome.
stockings, they're all great. That's true.
So I guess we're segueing into the retro review portion right now. We picked a story. I picked a story that as I said, I wanted to do for quite some time. This is Justice League of America, Volume 1, Issue 195, 196, and 197. Now, this is another one of those 3-issue story arcs of the annual JLA JSA team up, which they did every year. And this one, they fight the Secret Society of Supervillains. It's a new incarnation of this group. And actually, it's my favorite incarnation of this group. Now, the JLA and JSA have fought the Secret Society. I believe it was the JSA was guest starring at that time, but JLA has fought the Secret Society of Supervillains in the past, but it was a different incarnation of this. So, Tony, do you have my assist?
Oh, yeah. Week? Hold on. Give me just a second. Let me pull that up. Right here.
This story is from 1981, by the way.
1981, you said?
Yeah.
Very cool. All right.
So this is this cover. Man, I remember seeing this on the spinner rack, and one glance is all it took, and I was sold. If I was only getting one book that day, this was the book I was getting. So great George Perez artwork. I love, I've seen this cover homaged a couple times, and it certainly is homageable. But this incarnation of the Secret Society of Supervillains, this 3-issue story arc is the only time that we ever had this incarnation of the villains. And it's too bad. It's my favorite incarnation. I just love the ones that they chose. And it's a combination of Earth 1 and Earth 2 villains. So as we get started on issue number 195 on the first page, we see it's targets on 2 worlds.
I got to say, before we jump too far into this, normally, like when we read, or at least for me, like when we do like a big 3-part or whatever, we each take a certain issue and I read mine. I don't get any context to what the previous issue is. But I did not get that impression with this story, so that just goes to show that they can sneak in some key information into this story. So it didn't matter if you picked up the next issue. You felt like you knew what was going on. So
yeah,
talented story writing.
They do a good job of recapping in each issue.
Yeah.
Look at how tiny Johnny Thunder is compared to the rest of them on the screen. So I thought that was interesting. But these are essentially the teams that we're going to have. So as we start the story, you're going to get a lot of jumping from Earth 1 and Earth 2. But we're starting out on Earth 2, and this man is pulling up to this big palatial mansion that he owns. And you realize that this is the Monacle. But he's not evil anymore. He's become a businessman. He's created a fortune for himself in the laser technology. But you see by that last panel there, someone has greeted him, someone who's going to change his life, because the Monacle was musing that he wishes he still was a criminal as he walked through the door because he's kind of bored with life. Now we cut to Earth 1. Doctor, come in quick. The man has escaped. How did he escape, Well, he jumped out the window. How can he do that, We're so many floors up. But what else would you expect from the Signal Man? And you can see on that sign there, the signal is still lit up in the lettering. So Signal Man is running away, and all of a sudden he gets caught in a thing of ice that swooped up that's been delivered by Killer Frost. And he's like, who are you? And she's like, the name I was born with no longer matters, but you can call me Killer Frost. We cut back to Earth 2 now, and in jail, there's a new guard, a new warden, who apparently hasn't been versed in the fact that you need to leave Psycho Pirate alone, since he can manipulate your emotions. The emotions he feels on his face, you feel. So he uses that to his advantage to be able to steal the keys and free himself. And, he strikes terror into this guard's face. On the next page, he's actually leaving the prison, and they start shooting at him too. But a helicopter comes down. The Monacle is there with a big blast to make sure to free him, as the Monacle wants to recruit him for this special group, this special society. So at the bottom of that page, we're back to Earth 1, and there's a lady in this coat that has kind of been wandering the streets. This is on the waterfront of the eastern seaboard, not far from Chesapeake Bay. And these hoodlums are watching this woman, and they decide essentially that they're going to sexually assault her, which turns out to be a mistake to them, because this is no ordinary woman. As she starts clawing at them and wreaking havoc, she drops her coat and she reveals this is Cheetah. Now, this is the second incarnation of Cheetah, who was the niece of the original Cheetah. And this is a follow-up from her first appearance in Wonder Woman 274 and 275, which actually... you believe that she had drowned in the Chesapeake Bay. So the fact that she's on the shore of the Chesapeake Bay puts continuity into that story. And Cheetah warns them to leave her alone, never touch her again. So the guys take off, and Killer Frost shows up with the Signal Man. And she's like, who are you? And we're like, we're your friends. And Cheetah's like, I don't have friends. And Killer Frost has a proposition for her. We cut back to Earth 2. And there's a bank delivery for the manager of this bank. It looks like a big heavy box, according to the guy that's carrying it. He sets the box down. This bank manager isn't expecting anything, so he's pretty surprised when a gun pops out, a gun that's being held by Ragdoll. So Ragdoll essentially robs the bank. He's triple jointed, so as they try to shoot at him on the next page, he's easily able to avoid that. He jumps out, and there is the Monacle waiting for him. Although he wasn't expecting Monacle to be there, he jumps in, they start driving away and freeing him, and Psycho Pirate opens up the door in the back and shows arrow down a little bit, shows his emotions. So they see him, the cops see him, and they crash the cars, and they're able to escape. So we've got a team going on Earth 1, we've got a team of villains going on Earth 2. We're on Earth 1 now, in Metropolis, inside this garden that belongs to horticulturist Jason Woodrue, and he's taking care of his plants when Signalman, Killer Frost, and Cheetah show up, and they're there to recruit him, and he's like, I don't do that anymore. After my release from prison, I started a small business providing exotic plants to special customers. I will not return to the world outside. This is my home. This is my life. Well, Cheetah tears him apart to reveal that he is Plant Master, the Floronic man. And he says, call me what you will. You will see that I am half man, half plant. So they're recruiting him for this team because there's some leader that wants them. And same thing on Earth 2. They're talking about this leader that wants them. We cut back on Earth 2, and it looks like we're in Las Vegas here, and these guys are getting ready to leave. Their limo driver, or their driver, turns out to be none other than the villain, the Mist. And what he does essentially is drives them off the cliff, but with his powers, he's able to essentially mist out of the vehicle before it crashes and burns. And he is being recruited by this person in the shadows once again. Who is it? So incidentally there, Tony, let's look at that beautiful pinup right there done by George Perez of the JLA and the JSA.
Very nice.
So on the digital version, they put this pinup at the very end, but in the comic book, I believe it was in the centerfold.
Is that originally from this comic?
Yeah, it was originally from this comic and created for this issue.
Okay.
Man, that'd be awesome if you got this poster as a kid and you got Mr. Perez to sign it.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
That would be the coolest.
Yeah. So we'll continue on with our story. So there, the Mist has escaped. He's talking to this mysterious person in the shadows that's kind of the overall plan master behind this. We jump back to Earth 1, and the villains are they're getting ready to transport themselves over to Earth 2, but who's waiting for them but Brainwave, another villain from Earth 2. And even Signalman is like, what is this Earth 2? And why should I do this? And he's starting to get skeptical. Brainwave zaps him. He's unconscious. And they transport themselves from Earth 1 into Earth 2. So they're on the secret sanctuary on Earth 2. Our Earth 1 villains arrive and kind of do the introductions for each other. And don't flirt with Killer Frost because she's not into that. And there it's revealed the Ultra Humanoid is this mysterious creature, this mysterious being, the one who's kind of trying to put this team together, the one that's been in the shadows all along. And he essentially explains his origin, how he's transferred his brain into other people, and then found that he needed something that was more sustainable than a human body. So he transferred himself into a gorilla body. He explains his plan to them after that great ad from Lifesavers, where these 10 heroes, 5 from Earth 1, 5 from Earth 2, if you eliminate these 10 heroes, there will be a counterbalance. And what the counterbalance will do is wipe all the heroes from one of the Earths, either Earth 1 or Earth 2, they're not sure, but it will wipe all those heroes from that Earth out in counterbalance. So that's what he wants them to do. And of course, he's picked the arch enemies of those characters that are affected. We cut over to Earth 1. The JLA JSA annual team up is coming to a close. They're in the JLA satellite, and oh, it's nice to see you. And they're doing their final goodbyes and everything. Black Canary has invited Green Arrow there. He was not a member of the JLA at this time, but he came up as a special guest. On the next panel, Flash decides to do the cleanup from the events. So satellite's not a mess anymore when you got Flash. So both the Earth 1 heroes and the Earth 2 heroes teleport down to their respective planets and homes, leaving Black Canary on monitor duty. Green Arrow decides, it's time to go back to Star City. Black Canary can't join him because she's on monitor duty. Arrow leaves. She's sitting there kind of bored a little bit. And you see there's that shape. And that shape turns out to be the Mist. And he battles her. She remembers battling him with Starman, which was a Brave and the Bold comic book. I think issue 60 and 61 or 61 and 62, I think. And he's able to defeat Black Canary. She goes to punch him. He takes his Mist form. And essentially her force knocks her into this wall and knocks her unconscious as he laughs. Over on Earth 2, Hawkman is patrolling. And he gets zapped by this big beam and starts to fall. Looks like he's falling down into the city zoo. When he gets down there, he realizes it's the Monacle. Well, Hawkman does his little, what does that say? Twee-caw-caw?
Yeah.
Twee-caw-caw. Everyone in the chat, Twee-caw-caw. And summons all these birds to try to help him out. And the Monacle just starts destroying these birds. Hawkman gives him a big punch. His Monacle falls out. Hawkman stops him before he can grab it. And as Hawkman looks at the Monacle, this was all planned because it was done by remote control, and Monacle was able to zap Hawkman with that by a remote control laser lens. So he has defeated Hawkman. So now we have 2 of the characters done. We turn back to Earth 1. Wonder Woman is summoning her robot plane in Washington, and she's getting ready to go to her dinner date with Steve Trevor. Then all of a sudden the Cheetah just attacks and catches her by surprise. She thought the Cheetah was dead. So they kind of have this battle on top of the invisible jet in front of the Washington Monument. And Cheetah's like, you left me to die. You left me to drown. And Wonder Woman's like, that's not true. I searched for you. All the evidence indicated that you had drowned. And she's like, you're a liar. And she starts hissing at her. Wonder Woman goes to capture her with the lasso. Cheetah jumps out of the way. So Wonder Woman's lasso goes around the Washington Monument. And the centrifugal force yanks her off the robot plane and crashes her right into the monument. She falls down, dazed, and Cheetah attacks, yelling at her, scream. So we cut back to Earth 2. The villains have confirmed Black Canary, Wonder Woman, and Hawkman are all captured. The Ultra Humanoid is quite happy. And he muses to himself, a world will lose its superheroes when this is all said and done, wiped out by a shifting cosmic balance. But which world is not a question. Still, I cannot allow my colleagues to guess the truth, not if I wish their cooperation. For if they do realize that I have been lying to them, there will be hell to pay. And that's your cliffhanger for 195.
And what a good cliffhanger it was. Let me get the next one up here.
While you do that, I'll say hello to Flo. Flo, what's up? And Diano. That cover is amazing. Thank you, John. All the stories I tell, I enjoy telling stories. Some of the ones I tell are actually true. Oh, and thank you, John, for the tweet.
I was going to say we were 32 minutes in for anybody that wanted to clip that, but thanks. Okay. We just got another one. It's 35 minutes in.
Start that hashtag. But yes, I got the next issue. And boy, let me tell you what. You thought that jumping around in the first issue was a lot. This one, I think, is every 2 or 3 pages. They go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So
now Earth 1 is like
Earth Prime, yeah,
right,
yeah.
And then Earth 2 is going to be your JSA Earth.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so here we are, starting off here, page 1. See this beautiful intro cover here with the. I do have to say, in these, in this particular story, if they introduce a character that hasn't been around a while, they tell you in the corner of the page, last seen in this issue, that story, or first appearance in this run. So that's awesome. Reference. That is so cool, and I wish they'd do that more.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays, if they bring back an obscure character especially like from back when this was. Okay, so they're going over who they captured, and they're talking about who's left. The Ultra Humanoid is giving his orders, and we cut to the first one, Earth 2. We follow Psycho Pirate, and he is at a charity dinner party in Gotham. And there's a big guest speaker, looks familiar. So Psycho Pirate goes up to the projector area. Remember, he can manipulate people's emotions. He's got this old film. Remember the old film rolls? So he's got a secret film roll that he somehow snuck in there with those tights on somehow. But whatever. And he plays this film, which initiates everyone to panic and freak out. And we cut to Hourman realizing who it is and what they're capable of. Nice bubble yum commercial here. So they square off in the projectors booth, and they're talking about the last time they met, and Psycho Pirate is doing the typical villain thing. This is my plan, and this is how I'm going to execute it. Basically, telling him the whole thing. But Hourman kind of gets the best of him a couple of hits. But Psycho Pirate has this technology called the the Psycho Prism that the Ultra Humanoid gave him, and all he has to do is just kind of hold his hand out and show Hourman what's going on, and he just he becomes insane, really, and then he falls asleep essentially. So Hourman check. We cut back to Earth 1, and Batman is patrolling the streets, and he sees a big tower, a big bright tower, but he's not sure if it's the bat signal or something. So he moves closer to investigate, and then he gets blinded by the signal man. And as he's falling, I gotta love the little campy ways they did things. He's Batman's thinking to himself, "Oh no, I'm blind. I can't see. I lost the grip on my bat rope." Like, come on, man. Like, is that this Adam West or something? But anyway, so he gets his little grappling hook out, and he does manage to wrap it around a flagpole and save himself from plummeting all the way to the earth. But Signal Man is there to greet him, and he hypnotizes the crowd around Batman to bring him down. Fun fact: this page, it took me like I read the whole thing before I realized it was an ad for cupcakes.
Wow!
Because it was like Red Tornado, and the art was the same, and I was like, "Oh, Red Tornado's in here! I love the Red Tornado." And then I was trying to figure out who the villain was, and I was like, wait a minute.
Someday we're gonna have to do retro reviews just on the DC Hostess ads.
Oh my gosh,
Yep.
they're amazing. I think it's a
Yeah.
great idea, but yeah, no villain. Red Tornado just loves cupcakes. We cut back to Earth 2, and we're following Jay Garrick, and he's investigating some evil afoot at the docks. You know, the stereotypical evil docks. And he's chatting with a homeless man, and he says, "Hey, go check out this boat that pulled in. You're gonna want to go down to like the engine room and investigate." I heard there's some shenanigans down there. So of course he zips down there, and he's not seeing anything. And then he sees, you know, Ragdoll man, or Ragdoll, or whatever you want to call him, and pops out of this box, takes a couple of pot shots at Jay Garrick. Of course, it doesn't work. And the Flash does that little where he spins his arms really fast to make himself elevate. And as soon as he gets some elevation, a big explosion happens on the ship, and it knocks Jay Garrick out unconscious. So he's captured. Zip back to Earth 1, and the Atom is coming out of a phone. If you can remember, he used to be able to travel via telephone lines. I don't know how he would do that now, but in the age of cell phones, but that was pretty funny. And here we talk about, you know, these little tags right here. Oh, the Atom #1 from 1962. I just think that's the coolest. We see the half man, half plant in Ivy Town, because they couldn't say Boston for some reason. And he has captured a damsel in distress, and the Atom has come to save the day. Him and Plant Man obviously duke it out, and he's got like these roses that shoot like little needles, and I thought that was pretty neat. It's a very poison ivy kind of thing. He dodges those, and he dives into the water, and he takes shelter, and he's getting attacked by these vines, and he releases this gas. This nauseous, toxic pollen, I guess, is what they're calling it. And he dives right back into the water, but it's too late. He's ingested the pollen, and he is unconscious. So the Atom has been captured. We go back to Earth 2, and this one was pretty funny. And here we see Johnny and his boss are having a word. And here we have what do they call this guy?
Say you,
yeah. See you. Okay, I was saying see you, but okay, same thing.
Or maybe they see you, yeah.
Okay, it very well could be. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Big Lifesavers ad. It almost makes sense if it was see you. But anyway, yeah, here we have the gosh, what the heck is this guy's name? Brainwave. Brainwave and CU are going after Johnny here, and it's funny because Johnny sees them like in this bottle, and then he goes to like unlock him or get him out of the bottle, and he just like explodes in his face, and he's out for the count. Honestly, I thought here for a second that it was Dr. Savannah, because it kind of looks like an old school Dr. Savannah, but just
Brainwave does illusions, and he was
the
illusion of him in that other form, and also that was an illusion of the Thunderbolt trapped in the bottle.
Yep. We cut here to Killer Frost is on the news, on the loose. So Firestorm, Dr. Martin Stein and Ronnie Raymond merged together to go take on Killer Frost. This is a classic Firestorm battle, by the way. Like, these two have met many a times, especially in the old Firestorm comics. And it's a very stereotypical fight for these two. Killer Frost freezes him, and he's able to immediately thaw himself out, because if those of you who are unaware that Firestorm can actually manipulate molecules and transform the structure of things. And I think they did that in the Flash TV show a few times, or at least Legends of Tomorrow. I know they did Legends of Tomorrow, but anyway, the fight does not go well for Firestorm. She's able to freeze some major structural parts of the building and bring it down on top of Firestorm, thus rendering him useless. So he's out and he's captured.
While saving herself at the same time, which is
of course
interesting.
Of course. These zookeepers at the zoo notice a gorilla that just has a sign that he wrote on like this big wall, "Bring me Superman." So Superman shows up, and it's the Ultra Humanite. And they go some rounds, and the Ultra Humanite is able to like get on top of Superman with all these gorillas. And I thought that was kind of funny because for someone who can pretty much move an entire planet, a couple of gorillas were able to stop him for a brief moment. But the Ultra Humanite took some kryptonite and made it into a powder and was able to release it, rendering Superman useless. So, and that's going to wrap this issue up. All the heroes have been captured, unfortunately. So we'll see what it's like.
They're sending them into limbo, and then supposedly what's coming next is that Foo's going to cover is all the heroes from One Earth are going to disappear. Now the villains don't think it's a 50-50 shot that it's Earth 1 or Earth 2, but Ultra Humanite knows it's going to be Earth 2. So he's duped the Earth 1 villains.
All right, on to issue 197 then. This is the third and final part of this story. And yes, what we get here is all of the villains, their plan has come together, and they're cheering for the fact that the heroes are disappearing, and they're getting ready to see the reset across the Earths now that one of them is going to have their heroes disappear. We can see the heroes in the centrifuge here. They disappear and go into limbo. And right away, the villains noticed, like, hey, nothing's changed yet. And so Ultra Humanite's like, yeah, calm down. It's these things go through in waves through the universe. And so our next wave will be here in like a minute and a half or so. And then we'll see what happens. And we get a quick recap of the fights. I won't go through them since Tony just did. But we get the Mist here. He's most unhappy with the Ultra Humanite. And he's like, look, I'm going to take care of you myself if this wave thing of yours doesn't do what you said it was gonna, right? So they're very skeptical of Ultra Humanite. Some more bubblegum ads. But just like Ultra Humanite promised, this wave hits the multiple Earths, and it kind of does this like rip through reality where you can see how everything's kind of twisting and turning, but it only lasts a moment, and then the balance between the two Earths resets, and sure enough, the heroes are missing from one of the Earths. This is Ultra Humanite checking his computer. They're all getting prepared, and then realizing that, yes, it was Earth 2 that had all of the heroes gone. And the way Ultra Humanite says it kind of tips off the Earth 1 heroes like, hey, wait a minute, he knew this all along. And he's like, yeah, basically I did. He's like, but it doesn't matter. And he sends them back off to Earth 1 to deal with their heroes all on their own. And the Earth 2 villains now are all set to go ahead and rule over their Earth with no heroes. So the Earth 1 villains, this gets a little confusing, that were just backstabbed by Ultra Humanite. Their first instinct is, oh, we're going to go port ourselves back to Earth 2, and we're going to make them pay. As soon as they touch it, it's booby-trapped, and they're like, oh, we should have realized. He would have thought of that. So they agree they need to work together. Killer Frost is the one that comes up with the plan and gets the rest of them to kind of follow her. Then we go back over to, I guess this would be Earth 1, where Hal Jordan is in Coast City and is being called to the Justice League Watchtower for some kind of alarm that's going off. When he gets there, the Cheetah is waiting for him, as you can see, and this is pre-Emerald Twilight, so his ring doesn't work on the color yellow, and her uniform is yellow. So yeah, not his finest hour here. They go back and forth a bit, but ultimately he realizes, oh, I'll just, use my ring on the building around you. That way it's not directly interacting with the yellow. But no sooner does he do that, but she basically just freezes him. And apparently his Green Lantern aura wasn't up because he's able to be frozen. So the rest of the villains come out and go into the teleporter that takes them up to the Watchtower, because again, they know that the Watchtower has another way of getting over to the other Earth. So that was Killer Frost's plan. Up there, we've got Elongated Man, who is coming to relieve Black Canary of her time at the Watchtower, monitoring things, realizes she's not there, the alarm's going off, and she's not there, of course, because the mist already took her out. And that's when the villains, again, are waiting for the Elongated Man. They take him out very quickly. But then we go back over to Earth 2. Now, again, Earth 2 does not have, that's JSA's Earth, no longer has heroes. And so these villains over there, Monacle and Ragdoll, they are just they just show up to the police station, like almost to turn themselves in, right? And the cops are like, oh, that's convenient. Calls them all in to give them a proper welcome. And these two just take out the entire police force just for fun. And they're just kind of testing this out, like what happens with no heroes. We've got a jewelry store where the Psycho Pirate and the Mist go in and easily take that. And at this point, you realize the Mist is having a lot of fun. This is what he's always wanted, to just have no rules placed on him, and he can just do whatever he wants. And that's kind of his dream life, and he's living it right now. Again, the cops are no match for them. Here, this is kind of a weird one. This is where Brainwave decides that there's this actress that he likes, and he decides that his powers, he can control them to do whatever he wants. And he basically says he's gonna make her his lover. So that's how he's supposed to use his powers. Nice guy. Then we've got Ultra Humanite, who is also, he's at the United Nations. He's obviously has much bigger plans. He wants to take over the world. So he's trying to bully around the leaders of the world at the UN. Meanwhile, the Earth 1 villains, again, they're on Killer Frost's plan. They went up to the Watchtower and they took the teleportation device and took it into limbo, where again, all of our heroes are currently spinning in a centrifuge, which they find here in limbo. And each one of the villains take a crack at trying to stop the centrifuge. First, Killer Frost tries to freeze it. The signal guy tries to blast it with light. Floronic Man tries to get it with his roots. Nothing is working. And finally, Killer Frost says, okay, Cheetah, Wonder Woman's in one of those tubes. And Cheetah just goes nuts. She's like, I hate her. And so she goes in and basically claws her way to find the tube Wonder Woman's in, just with this sheer rage to kill her, and smashes open the centrifuge, which causes all of them to break out. Now the heroes are free. They see the villains here. They don't stop to ask questions, and they immediately take them out, as you can see. And basically, Killer Frost's plan, the big plan here, is if we can't have our Earth without villains, then no Earth will. Or if we can't have our Earth without heroes, then no Earth should be without heroes. So it's petty. Okay, back on Earth 2 now. Again, all of the villains are called to this place up in I think it's Tibet or something like that. And at the top of this mountain, super villain hideout, where they were all called, you would assume, by the Ultra Humanite. But as they go around, start asking, hey, who called us here? It turns out it wasn't Ultra Humanite. They go around the group, and each one of them says, wasn't me. Each one of them was having fun, doing their thing. They were enjoying life without heroes. So finally, the Justice League and Justice Society show up and say, it was us that called you here. And you can imagine what happens. Fight breaks out. Each one of them, it's basically a rematch now of the fights that we saw in the first one. But this time with the heroes not being surprised, it's a much more fair fight, and the heroes are each able to easily take out their counterpart. I won't go through each of the fights, but some good action scenes here. Where do we at? Finally, what they do is they set up Batman and the Atom. We're working on setting up this teleportation pad over on Earth 2 here. And once they get it working, the heroes, they each start like basically throwing their villain into it and they disappear. Ultra Humanite's the last one. He gets thrown in. Superman or Batman pulls out the wires, disabling the device, and go back to the Watchtower where Elongated Man and Green Lantern are kind of holding down the fort here, I guess. The Justice League show back up, kind of tell them the story, and Wonder Woman's like, or I'm sorry, I guess it's Green Lantern says, yeah, but Cheetah and Signal Man and all the other villains, what about them? And Batman's like, well, a court will have to decide their punishment. But in the meantime, and we get this cool little thing on the right here of all of the villains stuck in limbo, and they are all chasing after Ultra Humanite, blaming it on him. So there you have it.
Yeah.
The end. Very cool.
Hello to I Collect a Lot. Thanks for joining us on Fanboys Live in the Retro Review. So a couple notes to the story that I'd like to pass along. This story gets referenced a couple other times in other comic books. So it gets referenced in The Fury of Firestorm #4, which is Killer Frost, I believe, her next appearance. And it kind of gets explained how they got out of limbo. At least the Earth 1 villains got out of limbo. And then in All-Star Squadron Annual #2, the Ultra Humanite from 1941 freed the Earth 2 comrades from limbo in that story. So that's been referenced, like I said, a couple more times. Overall, what are your thoughts on this story, and how many tweet caws would you give it?
I thought it was good. The artwork was fantastic. Classic George Perez. So it's hard to find anything negative to say there. But this was a cool little short story. I like it. I'm going to give it 4 TKKs out of 5.
Okay, Fu, how many tweet caws for you?
I was going to give it 4 as well. This was a great story. This is everything a comic book should be. It was a simple little story, start to finish, great artwork. And it was just fun. It explored a little bit of each of the characters. You felt like you got to know them a little better. And I enjoyed it. And it had my favorite Batman in the blue and the gray.
That's my favorite too.
Yeah.
So for me, I mean, probably the worst part of the story is kind of just that notion of, well, if you get rid of these 10 heroes, all the heroes from one world will disappear. You kind of have to throw that part of the story away, even though it's the big plot point, because you have to have that for Ultra Humanite to betray the other villains, so they have a motive to get the story over with, essentially.
Right.
That's the only weakest part of it. But man, this story still brings back so many memories for me of reading this off the spinner rack. The artwork I loved. As I said, this is my favorite incarnation that was ever done of the SSoSV. I wish that they had made more appearances as a team like this. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 tweet caws.
It's a classic story. Now I think about it, like not necessarily the story itself, but like it's so simple. Why don't they go back to doing it like this? Like it's just a story. There's no big, deep 4-issue arc into someone's terrible backstory that no one cares.
You didn't have
about.
to buy another comic book to understand what was going on.
Yeah,
you buy these 3 issues, and even if you missed one of the issues, they do such a good job in recapping what had happened.
Yep.
Now, I had a story, in my first issue. Stop and think about this, though. What a bold decision this was. Like, my first 18 pages were all villains. there was no sign of the Justice League or Justice Society at all in like my first 18 pages. That's pretty big. I don't know if they do that these days.
Well, did they go much beyond 18 pages these days?
No, that's true. They
do
go
plus,
about
plus
22.
a full page spread in the middle. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And Jedi in Wonder Woman 274, 275, which this is not the original Cheetah. This is her niece. This Cheetah, she'd be crazy. She'd be bat crazy.
Yeah. When Killer Frost was like, okay, none of us have figured it out how to stop that centrifuge, she's just like, yeah, Cheetah.
But even before then, Cheetah's like, when Elongated Man, she's like, let's kill him.
Yeah, I mean, she hates all men
kill.
and just wants to kill them. Yep.
Yeah.
This was I just wish it was like this nowadays. You know, you just pick up a couple of good books and you get lost in the story and you don't got to worry about the other junk that comes with it. Because essentially now what it is just junk.
Yeah.
It's excuses why you have to buy another book.
Which I get. I mean, they're a business that they're trying to do. They're trying to get me to go back and buy more.
But they were a business when this book came out too.
You're absolutely right. So.
Which, speaking of, why don't they do the advertisements like this anymore? Like, I guess there are some advertisements still, but it's usually not throughout the book like they used to. Wouldn't that have been a form of revenue for them?
Probably. I mean, you're right that they do kind of the same thing now, like the big Snickers commercial where Batman and Superman are fighting Doomsday, and it turns out it's just Wonder Woman and she's hungry.
Yeah. I mean, that's a throwback to those Hostess ads.
Yeah.
That's my wife to a T. She's Doomsday, but when she's hungry, you know, if you feed her, she'll come back down.
She's hangry.
Yes.
So, yeah, I thought it was a fun story overall. I'm glad that this is one that we finally got around to doing because I had wanted to bring back these memories.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good. I liked it.
Had fun.
Very good pick.
Thanks. So we're at the portion now of Fanboys Live in the Retro Review where we start doing book show and talking about any events that are happening on our channel. And Tony Fett, you are up first.
I will actually go second because I got to get a book.
Tony Fett is not up first. Comic Food 2814 is up first and second at the same time.
I got no book either. I don't have a book show for tonight. And I do not have anything currently planned for my channel. I'll have to wait until my next comic haul. But yeah.
You do not give a boy long enough time to go grab something when
I didn't know.
But he got it. It is there by request.
Wow.
There you go.
And there's the back.
That's beautiful. Where do you pick something like that up? Was that
this was a gift?
Okay.
From George D. Runk Comics.
Nice.
It was part of a display, a cosmetics display at Walgreens, I think, when there was a Wonder Woman line of cosmetics. So yeah, that's just for you, meow. It's there.
Tip of the hat to D. Runk's nice Minnesota boy.
Yeah, Minnesota. Tony, are you ready now?
I'm ready.
Hold
Sorry
on 1 second.
that.
We got to highlight this.
Sure.
Meow.
Yeah. So, recap for those of you who have seen my latest video that I got a really nice AOK from a friend of mine, and he was at his local LCS in Glendale, Arizona, and he was able to meet Mitch Greatest. I think that's how you say his name. I never know. You know what? Honestly, I've met a whole bunch of people, and for those of them that I'm not sure how to pronounce a part of their name, I've never thought to ask. The idea has never popped into my head. But yeah, he was at his local LCS and managed to get me a copy of Batman One Bad Day, signed by cover artist Mitch Greatest, which was
that's
cool.
Awesome.
Yes.
Turn it a little bit. The light was getting.
There we go. Yep. The signature's right up here. The Mitch part. Very cool. I think this is pretty awesome. And Tom King is going to be in the Baltimore Comic-Con coming up, so I'll get him to sign this and a couple other things So
you should check with Tim, see if Tim wants you to get some of his books signed.
Yeah,
yes.
probably all of them.
Probably all the Tom King books, I imagine.
Yeah. Hello to Ben Compton. Thanks for stopping by, Ben. So for my book show, anything on your channel, Tony?
Yeah, I'm just doing some shorts. So stay tuned for that. I really enjoy doing the shorts. They do pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I get a lot of views and for some reason a lot of subscribers. And it's pretty low hanging fruit if you ask me. It's stuff I can just crank out fast and people seem to gobble it up. But then when you put out some content, when you put forth good, honest effort into it, I mean, you get nothing. It just seems to be the way it goes. But I'm happy that the people are just watching it. So thank you, everybody.
I'm dropping my shorts every Monday morning. And I do the back issue of the week. And this week, the current back issue of the week, he's just getting it now.
Yeah.
The current back issue of the week is a DC Comics book. So that's pretty cool. Sorry, but there's a Marvel one tomorrow.
Yeah.
Also, on my channel on Friday, I dropped a cover by video, and I did a Hawkman book from Volume 5, the A and the B covers. So that is out there. I had a comic book editions video that dropped this past week where I showed part 2 of a haul that I made at a comic show in Madison, Wisconsin recently. In part 1, I showed the Marvel books I got, and in part 2, I showed all the DC books I got. So that's cool. This upcoming Tuesday, so I'm dropping another back issue of the week short tomorrow. On Tuesday afternoon, there will be a new comic book editions video, and it's an AOK unboxing from Varangian Vigilante. So I'm excited to share that. So that's coming up. And for book show, what I decided to do, it's a book that we talked about just a little bit earlier, but this is the next appearance of Killer Frost, and it's The Fury of Firestorm, the Nuclear Man, issue number 4. So after getting out of limbo in this JSA team-up story that we just retro reviewed, this is her next appearance. And I reread this story a few months back, and oh my gosh, they even tied Burt Reynolds into this story. It is out there. So
nice to see that Red Tornado was able to stop eating cupcakes for a while to appear in that issue.
Because a robot's appetite is hardly ever satisfied.
Right.
Now that's volume 2 of Firestorm.
Yeah, because volume 1 only lasted 5 issues.
Right.
Yeah, surprisingly for I would consider Firestorm a B character. He had a lot of key issues in volume 1 and 2, really.
Hey, that early 80s after this series launched, Firestorm, I mean, he became part of the Super Friends cartoon. And stop and think about it. He was a regular. There's a lot of other characters that were not regulars on the Super Friends or the Superpowers cartoon. He was a regular for the last 2 seasons. He got himself his own action figure. So he did pretty good. It took about 8 years after the character was created before that momentum started building up. But he did well. Cyborg did even better because Cyborg came right after that in terms of joining the cartoon and getting an action figure and stuff. And Cyborg, came around with the invent of the new Teen Titans, the Wolfman Perez. So not bad.
Interesting. Yeah, I always see the first appearance of Firestorm, the first issue. It's still a valuable key, and you can easily find it for under $20.
Yeah,
and a lot of
it's funny. Issue 3, which is Killer Frost's first appearance, most of the time I think goes higher than Firestorm's first appearance.
Yep. Probably because she was a series regular on the Flash TV show.
Yeah, that could be. So, well, unless anyone has anything else, I think we're hitting the end of Fanboys Live in the Retro Review.
I think we're good. So
tweet caw.
Stay tuned next week for more DC movie news.
Exactly.
I'm sure
it was BTC Moon Guy. See you here. That's awesome. For Ezra Miller news, it was very light. That hardly is the case for us.
Yeah, right. He wasn't even in trouble.
Yeah, they weren't even in trouble.
I'm telling you, he's turning that franchise around. I'm telling you what.
Either that or next week's going to be doubly bad.
Yeah, exactly. So, Fu, are we on your channel next week then?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Look for us on Comic Food 2814's channel next week for Fanboys Live and the Retro Review, the greatest DC comic show on YouTube. And until then, Have a fantastic rest of your holiday weekend and week.